Welcome to 28.5 Women's Basketball, where we explore a unique and authentic perspective on the women's game, break down upcoming matchups, and discuss the latest news and trends in women's basketball. We are your hosts. I'm Sydney Story, and I played basketball at the University of Tennessee under Pat Summitt.
And I'm Becca Goodman, and I played at the University of Notre Dame under Muffet McGraw. And we're thrilled to have you join us today. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy what you hear, be sure to tune in each week and don't forget to follow, download, and listen to give an assist and share the love. Now let's get started with today's episode.
Becca, what's up? Are you ready for the huddle today?
Oh my gosh, I do truly love these. They're just a different flavor and spice that we add, and it's just takes away from like the game analysis piece that we always do. So I am excited, I am ready, and I love these types of episodes we do.
I do too, and they're fun because we take questions that have been submitted through our social medias. So I want to shout out Pat from Indiana because he has a really good question in here, and then we've got 3 other ones that I think are going to be really fun. So we try to sprinkle these in, right? We had the huddles last year. We probably had 5 or 6 even maybe last year. So this is our very first one for season number 2 here. So we're excited, and it's just that. We're going to take these questions that have been submitted. We're going to roll through them. We're going to answer them. And we're really not talking, to your point, any X's and O's today. So it is a different format and style, but a lot of fun nonetheless.
Let's do it. These are my favorite.
All right, so we've got 4 questions. So in true 28.5 women's basketball format, we're going to have 4 quarters here. The first quarter, I think we just go quarter by quarter. The first quarter is a really good question here. It's 3 coaches that are doing something, could be recruiting, systems, with or for their fans, that is something new, surprising, or interesting for the game. And I love this question because obviously there's a lot of teams out there, and the game has evolved so much. We talked about how much it's evolved even the past 3 to 5 years, especially with the portal and NIL. And the talent out there is really, really great right now. We've got a handful of players who are just legendary players. We talk about Caitlin Clark a lot when she was coming through. Now we've got like the Juju Watkins, who's sitting out this year, but still that star power. We've got Chavez, who's come in as a freshman at Oklahoma. We got some of these players. Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame, who's one of those legendary players. I mean, there's so much going on in the game. And with that, there's coaches that are also making huge impacts and how they're shaping their systems and ultimately shaping the game. So I think I would like to hear your answers first. And we haven't heard each other's answers, so this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm curious if we chose the same programs and coaches or not. There might be some overlap here, but what are those 3 coaches to you, Becca, that are doing something new, surprising, or interesting?
Yeah, so obviously we're taking this with a grain of salt just because we don't know the recruiting system and kind of what they get. And the NIL piece is a huge curveball in all of this because that can make or break a lot of families and girls and players' decisions. But what I think is interesting and like consistent is USC seems to be one of those programs. Yes, we've mentioned Juju's out, right? That was not something that people, the fortune teller saw coming when she tore her ACL at the end of last season. I just think them consistently getting the number 1 recruits. They've had 3 of the last 4. They have the one coming in next year as well. So it was Juju, Jazzy, and then the one coming in. I just think they're obviously offering something amazing. It's USC, so it's a great, you're in Cali, right? Like who wouldn't want to be there? It's a good all in all experience. People always talk about how, you're in the gym, you're around your team, but then you have your life outside of the court. And what is that? And what does that provide for an athlete to kind of turn it off and turn it on? I just think USC is obviously offering something. And I think, the coaching staff over there I've seen a lot of like documentaries, and they just seem very close, very family oriented, which I think is huge for any program because you have to remember these are 12 to 15 girls who are leaving their home and now become one of yours, right? So I know during the recruiting process, you probably heard this too, Sid. Just can you picture yourself here because this will be your new family. This is your new home. These are your new, siblings and not parents that replace them, but it's just a visual, right, of your coaching staff that you listen to. They're there for you, stuff like that. So Obviously, my number one is USC, just because recruiting wise, they have to be doing something right to be getting these awesome recruits. I think they'll start shaping it more next year when Juju's a piece of it. Jazzy has a bit more time under her belt. Those are going to be then two veterans. And then you have that one coming in next year. My second team, and it might be a little like, whoa, Becca picked this, but is UConn. I mean, Gino does what Gino does. And the fact that his system is so consistent, and let's be real, the game has changed so much NIL wise. I'm keep adding that because it's so vague and it's so unknown, and it's a rate, like it's that scale goes up and down. You really don't know what each player is getting. But for him to be able to be as successful as he has been, winning it last year and just showing utter dominance this year, I think he's obviously, a lot of old school coaches get out of the game, or it's towards the end and they don't really know. He's obviously done something to where maybe he just has that precedent and people understand that that's the UConn program. And if that's the case, you have an amazing program that you've built, that the expectations don't change regardless of the things around you. And I think that's an awesome just testament to what he's created and the standards that he's set. My third and final team, a little bit of a curveball. I wanted to go with something different. I'm going to roll with Oklahoma. I feel they're really putting good pieces together. They're starting to turn up again. Another team who got a number one recruit, Chavez. She was the number one recruit for this freshman class. And I just think it's crazy that back in our day, Oklahoma used to have the Paris twins, which were huge post players, dominant inside, but you don't really have big time players going to play at Oklahoma. And I just think Coach Jeannie has completely changed the expectations of that program. Again, I'm going to sprinkle in the fact NIL is an interesting factor in all of this. And obviously you have bigger programs or smaller programs becoming bigger names. Therefore, now they are now the big dogs. Back in our day, Oklahoma was there, but it's almost competing with that Tennessee, UConn, Notre Dame, US or South Carolina. And I just think all that level of competition is interesting to me because NIL provides that platform that anybody can kind of get any recruits based on money. And I just want to highlight the fans for all three of these teams show up, show out, support. And I think they provide a different level of support that I don't even think players who I would just say go to a smaller D1 would understand. To be able to play in a gym that's rocking day after day, game after game, it's unlike anything. And sometimes, the sixth man can really help you out. So those are my three: USC, UConn, and Oklahoma. What about you?
I like those a lot. We picked different ones, so this is fantastic.
Perfect.
I mean, there's so many teams out there, right? Like I said
Yeah.
that, but I really agree with your USC one, the first one you mentioned. I think Lindsay Gottlieb comes in. She's bringing a different flair. She had coached a little bit in the NBA, and I think that's kind of cool when you look at coaches across the country, the experience that she brings in. And to your point, you're playing in LA. I also think it's interesting that they have to recruit against UCLA a little bit, right? They're in the same conference now. They're in the same town. There's that star power across both teams. And so that's kind of like an interesting dynamic with USC also. And then UConn's going to do the UConn thing. And all three of yours, I think they're really good. For me, I went a little bit unconventional, not much women's basketball, historical blue blood dominance. So my first one, somebody who's doing something new, surprising, interesting to me is Mark Campbell from TCU. He really hits that transfer portal, and you can tell he hand selects the players that he wants to come play for him. And how, we don't know how behind the scenes, like how he gets these players, we're not sure. But you look at Haley Van Lith and Sedona Prince and some of those big players that he was able to bring into TCU, instantly elevated the TCU game. In the season before that, they didn't have enough players and they were holding open tryouts in the middle of the season, right? So you talk about the dynamic, and I know
such a good pick. Like, holy crap. Like, that was a really good one.
The whole script.
And now they have Olivia Miles, she's the last couple games had triple doubles. So yeah, go on, keep rolling.
Yeah, and I mean, they're consistently in the top 10 now. They had some really big wins last year against some good teams. So I think that's an interesting one. I think TCU is here to stay if he continues to cherry pick from the transfer portal, which is what he Seems to be a trend here a
That's a
little bit.
style. That's a style.
That's a style. And it now is very much in existence with this transfer portal. The second one I chose was Michigan. I think Kim Barnes Arico is really shining, and she's been in the game for a while. She's been at Michigan for a while, but she went out and she found that sophomore class, and that's made this huge difference for Michigan. So, Silas Swords, I just think she's one of the best players in the country, but really that entire class is just top notch this year. If you're looking to watch a good women's basketball game and Michigan is playing, like they are solid right now. And I think she's just did a really good job in that recruitment class. And then she's kept them. They stayed this year. They didn't transfer out. When
Very
you have
true.
somebody like a Silas Swords who probably could have went to a lot of these other big programs, they've stuck it out with her so far. I'm excited to see how that trends for them because it would be really cool if a University of Michigan made a Final Four one day. Like that doesn't happen usually in our games. So I really like what she's doing. I think she's a phenomenal coach, and I'm excited for her that she's really seeing a lot of success with those players. And then the third one I chose, a little bit of a rivalry for me, is Vandy. Shea Ralph, is an old UConn player back in the day, a phenomenal basketball player for Gino. And her at Vandy with Michaela Blake's, they're on the scene now, right? They're ranked 13th in the country when we recorded this in the AP poll. Vandy, every once in a while, like when we were playing, they had a decent team, but I think they're really good right now. I think Michaela Blake's is one of the best players in the country. And you look at Shea Ralph and what she's done for Vanderbilt women's basketball, there's a ton of noise the past couple of years around their facilities and their practice facility and what they've done for the women's basketball game there. I think that's huge. They can couple, and same with Michigan, right? They can couple with being a really good academic institution. And for some players, that means something, right? You played at Notre Dame. That's awesome. Like that's the 4 years for the rest of your life. Some of these girls are going to walk in, maybe not play at the next level. Maybe they do. They're going to get a degree if they stay from a Vandy, from a Michigan. I mean, I just think that that's a total package for some players who are looking to get a really good education. Still exists out there, right?
Yeah.
And then also go play for a program that's making waves. And I think Shea Ralph looks like a really cool coach to play for. She's a player's coach, you can tell. She played the game herself at a high level. So I just kudos to her because I think she's keeping Vanderbilt relevant in the women's game, if not elevating it. So those are my three. I think there you could go on and on. I think there's several other coaches out there and programs that are doing new and surprising things. But I think we picked six good ones, if you ask me.
Sid, yours were real good. I feel bad that you went like real creative and I just kind of went from like high level. So to the viewers, this is the level of detail we get into versus Becca versus Sid.
Yeah, right, Becca. Yours were great.
Good.
We just love this stuff and we talk about it all the time. So we're kind of in the know. The relevance is real.
I love the fact that you picked Vandy because just looking at their record, they're undefeated right now at 10-0. They'll probably win the next three. They're going to go into the new year, probably 13-14-0. And then Sunday, January 4th, they play LSU. So I think that will be their first real testament and like competition where it's like, we'll really see what Shea Ralph, like coaching wise, will bring. I think that'll be a really good game.
Yeah, Shea Ralph might be calling you because I think you just jinxed her. I'm joking.
Oh, no.
No, they do have a path for sure to be undefeated until they play LSU. I think that's awesome.
All right, let's jump to our second quarter. What a great question. The second quarter is, what would your all-star team be at this point in the season? Now, obviously, there are tons of players, but if we were going to pick a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by position, we're going to talk through a few pieces here, what we think and who would be on our team, but there's so many. And again, we're going to have probably different reasons as to why we picked them, whether it's a scorer. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because Sid's so detailed. Sid, I'm going to pass it over to you. I'm going to have you go through it first, and then I'm going to add some edits because I just think you're going to be so like intricately detailed. I'm going to have to pivot, but let's rock it. Who you got for your starting five on an all-star team right now in the season?
Okay. I'm going to try to not get so in the weeds because maybe it's too much for the listeners, but
no, do it.
I'm going to run through my 1 through 5.
Yep.
And then I'm going to explain them, and then talk about who I also thought could have swapped in that spot because this is so hard.
It is hard. Let's run through our 1 through 5s each and then talk about who we
Okay.
would swap.
Okay. Mine, maybe they don't get along, the whole team. This is going to be interesting. I don't know, but on paper, it looks really good. Okay. Number 1 for the PG spot, Hannah Hidalgo. The 2 shooting guard spot, I'm going Olivia Miles. The
Ooh.
3 guard spot, I'm going Booker from Texas. Gotta. Number 4, I'm going Sarah Strong, playing her at the 4. And then number 5, Audie Crooks.
Stop, Sid. I swear. Look at my paper. We have 4 of the same. 4 of the same. So that's I love okay, let me run through mine and then we'll talk about who we're flipping. I have 1 it as Hidalgo. 2, this is where we differ. I put Silas Swords for Michigan in there.
That's my
That's your
that's who I would swap in.
Oh my
I
gosh.
couldn't make a decision on that one. They're both so good.
They are. That's hilarious. And then I have Booker at the 3, Strong at the 4, and Crooks at the 5. That's hilarious. All right.
Yeah.
Let's dissect it. Let's go.
Okay. Hannah Hidalgo. So I thought about Rory Harmon.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal point guard. She just
Yep.
really is for Texas. Hannah Hidalgo is just, to me, consistently brings so much to every possession, pretty much. Like defensively, she's unbelievable. Offensively, if she's hot, you can't stop her. And she just brings so much energy and passion to the game. Obviously, I think there's so much star power to all 5 that we've listed. Like, I don't know how the ball shares.
It doesn't, but that's okay.
It does not.
This is our imagination.
Right. But to me, I think the best point guard in the country is Hannah Hidalgo.
Yeah. I didn't even have a backup for that. Instantly my 1. I agree with you. I thought about Rory Harmon. I even thought about Kiki Rice, but I think just overall consistency day in and day out, what they bring. And Hannah, she's a menace on the defensive end. Like she's leading for the amount of steals in the league right now. So if she's down on the offensive end, she's still going to be a menace defensively. So I agree with you completely on that number 1.
Yeah. Number 2, I put Olivia Miles. I had Silas Swords as my second place there. I just think, and we got to see Hannah and Olivia play together last year, right? So I just think Olivia Miles, she's just sometimes more quietly good than Hannah Hidalgo and Booker. But if you watch her every possession, she has an impact on every possession. And I think TCU has been great for her. She's really stepping up. You can tell she's comfortable there. He's given her the reins to pretty much be Olivia Miles. Not that she didn't have that at Notre Dame, but whatever it is there, she's elevated her game even more to me. And we're going to see how she grows even more this season. But I just think Olivia Miles is a phenomenal 2 guard. And if I think about true 2 guards, she can shoot the ball well. She's got a mid-range pull-up jumper. She can get to the rack. She can defend. She just brings the total package at the 2. Even though she plays the 1 a lot, I think, for TCU, right? Like that's the challenge here.
She's definitely a playmaker, without a doubt. I wish, obviously, things would have worked out and they would have stayed at Notre Dame because that would have been insane to have them both back a whole nother year playing together. But again, that's the interesting part about even what we're doing right now, right? Like we're putting them on our all-star team and they were on the same team, but it didn't really gel. You know what I mean? So that's why we don't really have role players on our 5 that we would want an all-star team, which is why it's an all-star team, right? So it's the best of the best. I picked Sila for that too, just because her ability to knock down consistent shots and make plays. This girl is going to be a menace the better she gets and the older she gets with more experience. Her first game as a freshman against the returning champ South Carolina, she put up like 20-some points. This girl's a gamer. Even this year, Michigan was playing UConn. It was kind of getting away from them. Sila came down the court in the fourth quarter alone and was like 4 for 4 from the 3-point line. This girl craves that limelight, but in a quiet way. She just lets her game play for it. She's not showy. She's not out there. She's that player you want. Say, hey, you're going to have 28 sprints. Who's going to knock down a 3-point shot? Sila.
There you go.
All day, roll it out, give it to her, do what she wants. But she's also just such a good overall player that she doesn't turn the ball over a lot. She even plays decent defense. I just think she's a really great two guard.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a competitor to your point. She brings the IQ. Solid for sure.
Do
She's
you know
she's great.
who I was flirting with here was like Neepkins from UCLA,
Okay.
Verhulst. There's a lot of players that are like that right now, but I went with with Sila because of just I mean, she's left an imprint on my forehead.
Yeah, she's great. She's fun to watch. Absolutely. And then we both went with Booker for number
Yeah.
three. I mean, SEC Player of the Year, SEC MVP last year. She's playing for Texas, which arguably is the hottest team in the country right now.
Hmm.
And she plays like Kevin Durant. She models her game like Kevin Durant. She's a lengthier player. Her baseline mid range game is just unreal and truly was the best player, or at least one of the best players last year in the SEC, if not the country. And I think Texas is, we talk about this a lot, like they're so hard to beat. And a big reason is because of Booker.
Yeah. Agree. Who else did you have here? I didn't have anyone else
I
because
didn't have anyone else.
that's
Booker, solid
crazy.
three.
And even Booker for me, I've mentioned before, if she's off, because she's been off before, it's bad. But I just think her consistency when she does have it, she's gonna bring something regardless. And she just stands out for the best reasons as that three that you have to have, period. Like her size, her skill, it's a no-brainer. That's hilarious that we literally almost have the same and we almost have the same subs as well. So whew.
Same
All
person,
right.
you know.
I know. So for four, you picked Strong from UConn.
I did. And I didn't have a backup on this one either. I mean, there are a lot of good post players that you could swap to the fours and the fives, but you have to put Sarah Strong in somewhere in the post game. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, with some of the bigger post players that are out there, you slot Sarah at the four. And now she's expanded her game where she's
Yep.
shooting threes more and really doing more guard like things
Yeah.
where she's not a true five. To me, she's a solid four and arguably the best player in the country. I think depending on how UConn does this year, Sarah Strong is probably going to be the player of the year.
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, there was no one else at the four. I didn't want to go, you know, typically the four is a bit more of a versatile post player, something who can go a little more high post, catch rip off the drive. The fact that she can bring the ball up, step out, knock down threes is terrifying as a for people guarding post players. So I didn't have any backups. I think the five spot, it was like, who would I play with her? Who would I add to it? And obviously, there are a ton of really good fives. Reagan Beers, Lauren Betts, Oldacre, right? We can go on with the anchor of that five. But I just think when it comes to Iowa State's Audie Crooks and what she's done number wise, based on who she's played, how she creates space, the consistency in her game, the fact that this girl's just a pointaholic, like points per game is more than minutes. I think that's wild. And the fact that she's that efficient is off the charts. She's the five. And as you mentioned, her game is just it's speaking for itself right now. And her Iowa State's not, top five or anything like that, but she's holding her own day in and day out at Iowa State and really putting them back on the map slowly but surely.
Yeah, totally agree. And for me, my second place here, as much as I would love to put Lauren Betts at second place, I put Beers. I think Reagan Beers is just solid, and not that Lauren Betts isn't. Lauren Betts obviously she's what, like 6'6" or 6'7". She's
Yeah.
just huge down there. I just think Reagan Beers moves well in an offense. I think defensively she's really good. She's tenacious going after rebounds. Like Reagan Beers to me is my backup there, which I was kind of surprised. Last year I for sure would have had Lauren Betts, probably at
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Yeah.
So things change a little bit, but
Yeah.
Audie Crooks has stepped up.
Completely agree. And while we're on the topic of Lauren Betts, let's remember in our first episode, we mentioned how Sienna Betts, Lauren's little sister, was a freshman at UCLA this year, but she was sitting out for an injury. She played in her first game this week, got 10 minutes and 5 points. I didn't get to see her flow, but it's great just to see the fact she's getting minutes and trying to chip away and get back in the game. I know a lot of people are excited to see the Betts sister combo and how they play together, plus how they help UCLA. So excited to see that going forward if she gets more minutes and stays healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And notice that, like, at least for me and both of us, because we had such similar lists, like, we don't have a player from South Carolina.
I know. I know.
We don't have a player from LSU. We
Yeah.
don't have a player from UCLA. Like some of the top five programs. I mean,
Yeah, that's
UConn we do with
crazy.
Sarah Strong, but yeah, it's interesting. I think Tanaya Latson could have been that player for South Carolina, could still be that player for South
Yep.
Carolina. She just hasn't been able to really showcase what she's capable of yet for South Carolina.
And I think Malaysia Fawiley from LSU or Flage Johnson, right? Those are staples that you talk about in the game. I looked at the latest uh, box score that they had, and it was just like a quiet game for both of them. And not that points is everything, right? Like, let's be real. When we're looking at these teams we picked probably would not be successful day in and day out grinding in practice because there's not enough touches on ball for all these players, which is why they're all at different programs. These are all
Right.
gamers. These are all the go-tos for their teams. Um, if they all had a ball and it was 5-on-5 with 5 balls, I think they'd all be great. But again, that's why teams recruit role players. They recruit people going to come in off the bench, do their job, consistently keep us in an offense. For instance, right? We didn't pick Rory Harmon at the 1 because Booker is the real gamer on that team. So you need a Rory Harmon to get them in the offense, create space for her to do her thing, but also when the load is heavy, take it off and be able to knock down shots too. So that's just our summary. There's 1,000 of other great players out there. These are just right now at this moment. I think this is something we should do at the end of the season too, or
I
right
agree.
before March Madness, and just see kind of who would be on that team as well.
Yeah,
Great
we might have a
question.
couple that change. Would be
Yeah,
interesting.
for sure.
Okay, our third quarter question. Which coach would you want to play for and why? This one's tough, Becca, because you played for some historic coaches,
Yeah.
playing for Pat and Muffet. So in today's game, obviously both coaches aren't coaching, so we'd have to go with completely different coaches. It's tough for me. I'm curious your pick, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna roll with Texas's Vic Schaefer. We've talked about him a lot, his play calling ability, how his players look to him on the sideline, how he hypes them up, how he corrects them. I was a player, I loved that honest feedback. I almost like got better after I got, told a little bit. So I think he provides that tough love, but a good balance of praise after, right? You see his players giving him hugs. They're very spiritual. They're a big family, it feels like to me. Um, I just think I would thrive playing for him. He has role players on his team as well that he hypes up, gives love to, critiques on. Nobody on that team is different. Booker's amazing, right? She's amazing, but he's still on her. It's not like he can't correct her, he can't make sure. And I like the fact that a coach who even treats his star player as if it's the last bench player or walk on. Everybody's the same. Maybe somebody gets a greener light than other people, but at the end of the day, they're on them to make them work harder. And I just appreciate that type of honesty and like matter of factness. So I would roll with Texas and Vic Schaefer. What about you?
That's a solid pick. I just think he's such a good coach. I think he's running the best offense in the country right now, and it shows,
Yeah.
right? They're ranked number 2. I just think he's phenomenal. He has the experience. That's a solid pick. I went with Dawn Staley, which is not super original, but I just think she's awesome. What
Yeah.
she's done for the game recently reminds me of my coach Pat, and I just think she's really keeping women's basketball forefront. We're evolving with Dawn, and I think that's been amazing. I look at the Vegas tournament and how her team has been in it, and she's just advocated for more NIL money and payouts for her players, and that's the future. That's not going
Yep.
away. And I like how she's just trying to be on the forefront of that and really seems to be a player's coach. Obviously, she brings so much experience as a player, now as a coach, winning national championships. She played on the Olympic team. I I actually love watching her coach too. I go back to this story a lot. We went to the Final Four in Cleveland a couple years ago, and they got down to Iowa by like 10 or 11 points to start the game. And she kind of sat there on the bench, like not getting riled up. You can tell the paper was rolled up and she was just processing and thinking, calls a timeout, and all of a sudden, before you know it, they're back in it. And I just think she's that calm, cool, and collected coach when she needs to be. It shows the maturity, what she brings. I like that as a leader. I really
Yeah.
trust that as a leader.
Yep.
And I just think what she's done at South Carolina, she took a program that was not good, and now they are a huge staple in women's basketball. And I just think that she does amazing things. I've got it right here. I recently
Oh
read
my
her book,
gosh.
Uncommon Favor.
Yeah.
It's so good. I recommend it. It's all about her life growing up in Philly, and she talks a lot about USA ball, talks about the WNBA, and then obviously getting into coaching. And it's a really good book, and I just think she's a like a role model for me. I just think she's awesome. Like I love her
Yeah.
approach to things. She doesn't seem to take things super seriously, which I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's things like that maybe are different from the coaches that we played for,
Yeah.
right? With Pat and Muffet seem to take things like very seriously. I think
Yeah.
Dawn just has like this like natural, calm feel to her, and I like that. And I just would love to play for her. I think that's a huge opportunity for anyone who gets it.
Yeah, that was a great pick. I mean, you mentioned the fact it's maybe not as unique, but it's the reason that you backed it up with speaks for itself. She's one of one without a doubt, and she's one of one within the game right now. So I do think it's interesting that we didn't pick anyone on that team to as
Yeah,
our 1 through
right.
5, but then like that was your coach. But I agree with you in every facet. It's just I feel like South Carolina as a whole, they're a good team. There's nobody that stands out all the time because they're all so good. But as you've mentioned, a few people like Latson, they have Johnson at the point and Joyce Edwards inside. There's definitely the possibility for that to flip pretty quick because Dawn is their coach. And I think her demand for excellence and consistency and what they'll need come tournament time or conference, I think that will drastically change. So I agree with you on that. That was a good pick.
All right, let's roll into our fourth quarter.
Let's do it. So Sid, we're going to talk, who do you think will win the ACC, SEC, and Big Ten regular season? So let's go with the ACC first. Who's your pick for winning the regular season?
The ACC was the toughest for me. I feel like there's a toss up here amongst a few teams
Yeah.
where I wouldn't be surprised if they won it. I think NC State to me is the most talented, and they've played a slew of good teams so far. So their record doesn't show it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go NC State, but I think Louisville could contend. I think they have the experienced coaching staff. They've got also some really good athletes. They've played some decent teams so far.
They're
So I'm going
rolling.
NC State. I think Louisville could contend. I think North Carolina could contend. I think Notre Dame could contend if they can figure out some more scoring. But I think right now, heading in, I'm picking NC State. What's your pick there?
All excellent points. Completely agree on all fronts. Louisville is a dark horse for me as they are starting to get that confidence that we didn't really see in the beginning of the year. And it's still the beginning of the year. It's just like month 1 compared to month 2. I think they have flipped a switch pretty quick and it's a little scary. In a great way for them. They're really starting to gel, play well together, and get some gamers to show up. I'm obviously going to roll with Notre Dame. I hope we stick to our defensive principles, really lock in, lock up. NC State absolutely is in there. It's agree with you completely. Their record doesn't really show. They've played great teams so far, so they're tested and they understand where they can learn and bounce back from. Notre Dame just has to absolutely, I agree, get some more consistent scores, and they have to play defense every possession of every game just to overcompensate for a couple of that scoring lack. So that was something that we were really big on. You know, we used to play like 10 seconds or 10 possessions, perfect defense, like all these things that we used to do in practice that I don't doubt Niele has her own way that she's sprinkling that in to make sure that that's the focus. They've said that since the beginning of the year. So I just hope they really lock in on it, lock down, and become the ACC regular champs.
They could do it.
They
It's
could.
a clean slate for sure heading in. All right. So the next conference we wanted to pick a winner for is the Big Ten. And so I take it back. I said the ACC was going to be the toughest. Like there are good contenders in all three of these conferences that we're going to highlight. I'm skipping the SEC. I want to jump to the Big Ten. I'm not going in the order of the question here, but It's tough. Like Michigan's ranked number 6 right now. Maryland's right behind them. And then you've got UCLA, who arguably should win this thing, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they will. I think I'm going to go Michigan.
Oh, okay. I like that pick. I did put down UCLA just because I think maybe Michigan or even Maryland might be able to pull an upset off in the conference in the conference tournament just because that's a bit more back to back. It's a bit more intense. Where I think UCLA, they provide a different style of game that I don't think Michigan will be ready for in the regular season. They're going to learn from it, bounce back, and maybe provide an upset in the conference tourney. But I'm rolling with UCLA just because I mean, they should win it, period. Like I just feel like they have players that need to show up and play, stay healthy. Lauren needs to, calm down, let the game come to her and not force so much and maybe lean on those guards that they have. Ledger Walker is legit. She's a gamer. Neepkins, right? Like they have the players from multiple facets where I just think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in the Big Ten that should be able to stop Lauren Betts.
Yeah.
Like, can you
Yeah.
think of another post player?
No.
All the other big post players are really in the other conferences. To your point, I mean, she should have field days. And then if the UCLA guards show up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I think that's the struggle there with Michigan is how do you stop Lauren Betts? I think Michigan's guards are more talented, so we'll
Yeah.
see who shows up there and what balances out. And then I think Maryland is the dark horse there.
Yeah.
They have
For
to
sure.
consistently play, and I think that's been the struggle the past couple of seasons is Brenda Freeze getting her players consistently showing up day in day out. It's a long conference season, so I don't know. The Big Ten's going to be fun to watch, and then you're going to have some upsets in there. Iowa could upset some
Yeah.
teams. Indiana maybe doesn't have the player and the personnel this year, but they've got a really good coaching staff and they're experienced now. Like you just never know where an upset is gonna brew in the Big Ten. Ohio State's capable of it. Like it's a good conference for sure. Michigan State, I mean, they've been on the scene a little bit more. That's a fun conference to watch right now, women's basketball.
Yeah, and we didn't even add USC in there. I mean,
Yeah, we
I know
didn't.
they're down and out, but like they have that Jazzy Davidson, the freshman. They have a lot of good pieces that could turn it up because they realize it's us or no one, right? They have to do the job. So again, it'll just be interesting to see where the chips fall. But
If we jump to the SEC traditionally a very strong women's basketball conference, strong again this year. I think you have to pick Texas. If you don't pick Texas right now, you haven't been watching women's basketball. That's
yeah,
where I'm at.
yeah, I completely agree. And the only I pick Texas. The the other team that will make a run is South Carolina because they've already been beaten by Texas in a tournament. So I just feel like Dawn is going to analyze, scout, lock it down, and provide a challenge. But again, Texas, I just think has the weapons to finish it out.
Yeah, LSU has the offensive power to really potentially come up with an upset here. I just go back to that Duke game when they got down early and often. I don't know. LSU to me is the dark horse in that conference, but I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they're capable of knocking off a Texas this year.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Wow, we were kind of aligned on a lot of stuff, even though we did this separately. I just feel like that's very impressive. I do really like your first quarter, the three coaches doing something that was really good, Sid.
Yeah, I liked all of your stuff too. I think we're lockstep on a lot of it because we talk about the same things on a lot of the episodes. Your coach to play for though, Vic Schaefer, solid
Yeah,
choice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I'm saying that because I genuinely feel that. Hey,
Yeah,
I
right, right.
I have one more oddball OT question for real quick. What is one phrase or one word, an adjective that you feel we either say a lot about the women's game that needs to happen or kind of describes things that we talk about often?
Well, we use absolutely as our filler a lot, but but about the women's game,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like, what are you thinking here? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just noticed when we were running through these, we said consistency quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something in the women's game. And again, there's just such great players and teams. but showing up every day is so important. And it's probably really hard right now at this point in time, with the distractions off the court, the need to show up, and the demandingness that on the court brings, especially in game time situations. But I just think that's a huge piece. And I think whatever team can lock in and get that consistency down across the board for their team to show up and play their style, that's going to be the difference maker, I think, going into conference play, tournament, and beyond.
Yeah, that's solid. I think players, coaches, all the above, it's such a long season. We say that probably every episode. So if you consistently have to show up, you're really working towards your seeding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all these games really matter, so you have to consistently show up. You can't show up and lose a couple fluke games because it'll really knock your seeding back. That happened to Notre Dame last year where
Yes.
they lost a couple games that arguably pushed them back in the seeding, and you and I were looking at each other like, "What? Notre Dame's way better than this."
Yeah.
But
Like what happened?
yeah, what happened? And then that whole full body of work is just so important, and to your point, you consistently have to bring it.
It's almost like college football at this point,
I know,
right? Like
it's-
that's
right.
pretty crazy. All right, I think we're good to wrap. What a great episode. Ton of fun. Appreciate the questions. I really enjoy these huddles. So if we get some more questions via our social medias, we can absolutely jump on and do this often. But Sid, I thought we were aligned and we had some really good points. So good stuff.
Yeah, keep submitting questions, and we'll have another huddle soon once we get some more that fill up the hopper there.
We hope everyone has a great Christmas and happy holidays. And we will chat with you all after.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you, Beck.
See you, Sid. That's the 28.5 final buzzer for today's episode. Don't forget to hit follow and download on your preferred podcast platform to catch every play-by-play. New episodes drop each week throughout the season.
If you've enjoyed our courtside chat, drop us a review or follow us on our social media accounts where you can send us questions that may be selected for our Team Huddle Q&A episodes. And remember, from females who have played the game, the size of the ball matters.